Breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
And that breaking news is about a key vote at the legislature. State lawmakers take the final vote on new congressional districts. We're waiting for that vote, and we'll bring you results as they happen.
And second person charged. Police say a 19-year-old woman and her sister were racing at the time of a deadly crash in Fayetteville.
And it is a gorgeous day outside, upper 60s at the moment, but I'll let you know when temperatures really come crashing down this week coming up.
Lawmakers could take up a final vote today on a plan to give Republicans an even bigger advantage in congressional elections. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Michelle McConaughey.
And I'm Ken Smith. Renee and Chris, I should say, on assignment. Thanks so much for being with us. So let's get right over to Sean Gallagher outside the House chambers. Sean, what's happening right now?
Yeah, Ken, Michelle, the debate has just started within the last 30 minutes or so. A lot of Democrats right here behind me speaking out about this redistricting plan, but it's really an argument that won't do much as the Republicans hold the votes here. And I'm told that none of the Democratic lawmakers have heard from their colleagues on the other side that they would waver in their decision on this. Now, Tuesday, the Senate approved the new maps to go forward, and it passed through the House Rules Committee as well, amid boisterous protesters both inside and outside of the State House. All that's left is this final vote in the House, expected later today. Now, these new maps will likely give Republicans an edge in congressional races, increasing their congressional representation from 10 to 11 out of the 14 total seats in the state. But a Republican-leaning survey by Opinion Diagnostics shows 84% of North Carolina voters oppose the new gerrymandered maps, including more than 3/4 of Republicans surveyed. House Majority Leader Brendan Jones just spoke moments ago to the group about why they're pushing this forward.
Obviously, people on the left are more animated about it, but I've started hearing from people in my own district when the Texas and California sort of battle started. People started asking at events, when are y'all going to, redistrict?
Because of the change to our state Supreme Court and voting rights issues that are being eviscerated at our U.S. Supreme Court, they're just grabbing up that seat.
Now you're taking a live look inside the chambers right now as the debate continues on. A representative from Durham speaking out about this right now. Now we are expecting this bill to be approved into law. That's a vote that could happen as soon as today. Now there's little else that can be done from there. Governor Josh Stein does not have the power to veto any redistricting bills, but we are told once this does become official, lawsuits are expected to challenge it. Inside the State House, Sean Gallagher, WRAL News.
Well, right now, Republicans have an advantage in 10 of the state's 14 congressional districts. They want to make that 11. They're trying to flip District 1. The new lines would all but guarantee a GOP victory in that district. Don Davis is one of 3 black members of the state's congressional delegation. District 1 has been represented by black Democrats for more than 30 years. And right now, Republicans have 219 seats in the U.S. House, a slim majority. This new nationwide push to redraw maps from Republicans is aimed at expanding that majority in next year's midterm election. And we will be following the story very closely throughout the day. Tune into our evening news from 4 to 7 this evening for WRAL's coverage of the debate and the vote, as well as what's next.
One of the sisters charged in a crash that killed 3 high school football players in Fayetteville appeared in court this morning. Destiny Jenright turned herself in yesterday. She faces a number of charges. Investigators say she and her sister, Diamond Monroe, were racing when that deadly crash happened. WRAL's Flynn Snyder is live at the Fayetteville Police Headquarters right now. Flynn, what can you tell us?
Well, Ken, I just spoke with Fayetteville's assistant police chief here, who could not reveal much about the investigation, but says that street racing is something that his department has responded to in the past, and that putting a stop to it is a top priority. Now, in court, Jenright was released on a $10,000 bond. She's charged with willful speed competition, speeding, reckless and careless driving, and an insurance violation. Her sister and the person and the driver who police say of the car carrying those 3 high school football players, Diamond Monroe, faces similar charges, including and also 3 counts of involuntary manslaughter. A case warrant says Monroe was going 92 miles per hour in a 45 mile per hour zone when her car struck a utility pole and crashed into a tree off Rose Hill Road earlier this month. That crash killed 3 members of the E.E. Smith High School football team: Trevor Merritt, Jahan Elliott, and Nicholas Williams. At last check, Monroe remains in the hospital. This morning, Fayetteville police say what was supposed to be a fun post-practice outing for the players turned into tragedy.
I hope that it is an ever-present reminder for the individuals when they're driving. Don't do something that could result in you being hurt, a friend, a family member being injured, or unfortunately what we see when we lost 3 young lives 2 weeks ago.
So Fayetteville police note that this investigation is still active. Jen Wright's next court appearance now set for December 5th. Clint Sider, WRAL News, live in Fayetteville.
It's another beautiful day at the fair, but a little cooler behind yesterday's cold front. Meteorologist Kat Campbell is on the WRAL weather patio for us this afternoon with a closer look at when Kat will reach for that extra layer tonight, definitely.
You are absolutely going to need it tonight. It is going to be about 10 degrees cooler than we were when we woke up this morning. 68 degrees, full sunshine out at the North Carolina State Fair. You see Dorton Arena there. We are right outside of Dorton Arena, the WRAL picnic area. We've got picnic tables for you to eat your food. And of course, you can swing by and say hello. I'll be out there today, and I'm looking forward to it. 73 degrees at 2 o'clock. By 6 o'clock, mid-60s if you're doing dinner at the fair. But by 8 o'clock, boom, temperatures drop as soon as the sun sets down into the 50s. So make sure that you've got a sweater with you tonight or a light jacket. We're sitting at 68 in Raleigh, as I mentioned, but 70 already for Goldsboro and Southern Pines. Rocky Mount, you're already up to 73 degrees. 66 in Roxboro. It's beautiful no matter where you live. The cold front has passed, and behind it, we've got a cooling wind. It's a bit breezy at times today, but notice there are some frost advisories off to our north and west, not yet in place anywhere for North Carolina for tonight. And that's likely not going to be the case for the mountains because it's going to be too windy. But we do really start to cool down. 35 in Boone tonight, 38 in Asheville, 43 in Raleigh, and then it gets even colder than that tomorrow night and Friday night. And I'll outline a closer look at that when we could see some frost, as well as our next chance for rain coming up.
Marshall is searching for the cause of a fire that destroyed a building. Crews responded to Highway 27 near Coates around 5:30 this morning. This is video courtesy of Sky 5 this morning. The fire marshal says no other buildings were affected and no one was hurt. Crews closed one lane of Highway 27 near Red Hill Church Road during that investigation. The Wayne County Sheriff's Office asking for the public's help in finding the cause of a fire along I-540. This was seen around 2:30 Saturday afternoon near the Triangletown Boulevard exit. Video shows crews battling flames raging along the side of the highway. Several lanes were closed, causing traffic backups. Now, anyone in the westbound lanes around that time of the day, maybe have seen something, you're encouraged to call the Wayne County Sheriff's Office.
3 people are being treated for injuries after a high-speed crash in Raleigh, and the driver is charged with DWI. This happened just before 3 this morning on East Millbrook Road near Hargrove Road. WRAL's Ali Calabar has more.
We can still see pieces from that crash. You can see pieces of the car here, fender right there. Now, Raleigh police say that the car was driving down East Millbrook Road around 3 this morning. The driver lost control of the car, and you can see those tire tracks right there leading to this section. That car crashed into these trees. This security footage shared with WRAL shows the car speeding, veering off the road, and crashing. We slowed down this clip. You can see the car catapult a pole in the intersection. You can also see the headlights flicker as the car kept driving and crashed into the tree. This video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker captures the damage from this crash. You can see that car is destroyed. 3 men were inside that car when it crashed. We know they were taken to the hospital. They are expected to live. We now know from Raleigh police that driver is facing multiple charges, including a DWI, reckless driving, and careless driving. We're working to learn the current condition of those involved. Reporting in Raleigh, Ali Calabar, WRAL News.
Grace Holland here in the WRAL Live Center. Following some breaking news in Paris, the Louvre Museum director has said that heist that happened over the weekend was a terrible failure, and they have offered to resign because of it. Now, this comes as the world's most visited museum reopened today, 3 days after that heist. Thieves took 8 pieces worth $100 million.
All right, Grace, thank you. Local food banks are reporting an uptick in need since the government shutdown. The Interfaith Food Shuttle says anywhere between 100 and 300 more people have received services between August and September. Their staff is expecting those numbers will go up as more federal workers are impacted by the shutdown. Between the end of COVID funding, federal cuts, and no state budget, the staff says they are struggling to meet the need.
How do we do more with less? Because there's a bigger need, but we have fewer dollars. We used to get state funds, and this is actually the first year that in the proposed budgets that are out there, they have cut food bank funding for the first time in 35 years.
SNAP benefits are expected to last at least until next week. The North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services sent out a notice. They say the U.S. Department of Agriculture does not have enough money to fund SNAP through November. The USDA is asking states to withhold benefits while they work on a contingency plan.
Well, the latest weaker than expected earnings reports from the big companies like Texas Instruments and Netflix weighing on the markets this noon hour. You can see the Dow is off more than 170 points. The S&P also down more than 28 points. The NASDAQ also in negative territory this noon hour as well. Well, speaking of money, the Mega Millions jackpot growing again. It's now $680 million. No ticket matched all 6 numbers in last night's drawing. The jackpot is now the 9th largest amount in the game's history. The next drawing is Friday night. You can catch it live on WRAL right before our 11 o'clock news.
Next at noon, a man jailed for the January 6th riots and pardoned will stay in jail for now. The new charges against him involving a U.S. representative.
Also, WNBA players could soon see a rise in their paychecks, what the league commissioner says about the deal.
Plus, 40-story high-rises could be coming to Raleigh. We'll tell you exactly where they would go and what still needs to happen.
Coming up next, sea storms moving in with WRAL's exclusive Dual Doppler 5000, sponsored by the WRAL Weather app. Download now for live radar.
A Capitol rioter who was pardoned by President Trump this January is now charged with threatening to kill House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. Christopher Moynihan, seen in Department of Justice images from the January 6th riot, was sentenced to 21 months in prison in February of 2023 for his actions during the Capitol riot. He was among 1,500 people released under the president's blanket pardon. A New York judge ruled Moynihan will stay in prison until tomorrow's hearing on whether he can be released pending trial.
We all know what we've signed up for, but there's pain being visited upon the American people because of actions taken by Donald Trump, supported by House Republicans and Senate Republicans on day one of his presidency.
Anybody who threatens political violence against elected officials or anyone else should be have the full weight and measure of the Department of Justice on their head. I trust that will happen. I hope it will.
For years, the DOJ tracked violence based on political ideology and posted its findings on its website. Data gathered since 1990 found that 520 homicides driven by ideology were committed by far-right extremists versus 78 committed by far-left extremists. That information has since been removed from that website. First, it was the media. Now Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth is cracking down on Pentagon staffers speaking to members of Congress. A 5-page memo signed by Hegseth instructs all Pentagon personnel, except for the Inspector General's office, to seek approval before they communicate with elected officials. Previously, Defense Department agencies were free to manage their own interactions with Capitol Hill.
Grace Holland here in the WRAL Live Center. Following some NFL news, they've decided to move the Pro Bowl festivities to the week of the Super Bowl. This was an announcement made by Commissioner Roger Goodell at today's league annual fall owners meeting. The Pro Bowl games are set for Tuesday, February 3rd in the Bay Area. The NFL is hoping that this will take advantage of some increased interest in flag football as the Summer Olympics are approaching in 2028. The Super Bowl is set for February 8th Faith in Santa Clara, California.
And staying on the topic of sports, WNBA players may soon see a boost in their paychecks. WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert has said she expects the deal between the players and the league will be wrapped up soon. The WNBA's 13 franchises have seen increases in value over the past few seasons. We'll get ready to celebrate the season by hitting the ice at Fenton. Skate the Square returns on November 7th. The festive pop-up rink welcomes skates of all ages daily. You can choose general tickets or season passes. There are also special discounts, including the Monday Cheap Skate. And then on Tuesdays, veterans, military, and emergency workers can enjoy discounted skating with a valid ID. And don't forget the little ones. Children 7 and under can join their parents every Sunday from 10 to 11.
All right, if you're a member of the military today, you can get into the state fair for free. It's Military Appreciation Day. You and one other guest can get in for free, but you must have your military ID. Each year, fair organizers feature a military parade and a performance that you just saw right there. And if you're headed to the state fair today, be sure to stop by the WRAL booth and say hello. Meteorologist Kat Campbell and WRAL health reporter Grace Haber will be there from 2 o'clock this afternoon until 3 p.m.
And we have some beautiful weather for Military Appreciation Day. Meteorologist Kat Campbell out on the WRAL weather patio. Kat, we have an increased risk in fire, though, today, too. We haven't had much rain.
We haven't had much rain, but that's great news for everybody headed to the North Carolina State Fair. And if you're heading that way, especially if you're bringing the kids, they actually have some cool exhibits talking about fire danger with Smokey the Bear. So check that out. It's relevant today and a little bit of good science as well. 11 a.m. through 7 p.m. today, we've got the increased fire danger risk, very dry air, gusty winds at times, and of course the drought that we remain in. But otherwise, it's just a beautiful day. 66 degrees in Holly Springs, 66 in Garner, 68 in Raleigh, 65 Chapel Hill, 71 for the folks in Clayton. After school practices will be beautiful, 72 at 4 o'clock. And by the time the sun sets, temperatures really dip. We should be in the 50s by 8 o'clock. So just keep in mind, it really is going to be cooling off tonight. By tomorrow morning, we'll wake up to temperatures almost 10 degrees cooler than they were this morning. 38 degrees in Roxborough, 40 in Durham, 43 in Raleigh, 42 degrees in Goldsboro, and then it gets even colder by Friday morning. Check this out. 41 in Raleigh, 40 in Durham, 40 in Rocky Mount, 42 Fayetteville, 35 in Roxborough. I want to point out these numbers are actually trending a degree or two up from where they were yesterday and the day before. So that may help us with the frost risk. But again, Friday night into Saturday morning, we're going to have to keep an eye out for that. Any frost would be very isolated. At this point, it doesn't look like there's a lot of evidence for a frost advisory to be issued, but the final word will come from the National Weather Service, and we'll have a closer look at that tomorrow for you. The mountains are likely to see frost, perhaps even a freeze. Let's talk about Tropical Storm Melissa. Maximum sustained wind still 50 miles per hour today. It has slowed down. Yesterday, it got up to 14 miles per hour as it was moving to the west. Now, it's just moving at 2 miles per hour, and it barely moves for the next 5 days. This is the track over 5 days. It is now forecast to become a major hurricane with the messy side of the storm and flooding rains closer to Jamaica. So Jamaica could see significant flooding, significant rainfall, as well as winds. This really looks to be a very dangerous future hurricane in Jamaica. Model plots today, and I filtered these out to be the most reliable model plots for you, are showing pretty good consensus on more direct impacts toward the Jamaica area. So we're going to have to keep an eye on Melissa in the coming days. For now, we've got beautiful weather here locally. Highs stay in the low to mid 70s through Saturday. If you're headed out to the State Fair this weekend, it looks pretty good. Sunday night into early next week, that's our next chance for rain. And I'll have a closer look at our next weather maker that brings rain chances coming up in the next half hour.
All right, thank you, Kat. Funding drying up. Coming up at 4, we share a warning from local health departments who say federal dollars for SNAP benefits may not be available starting next month.
Then coming up at 5, housing market crunch, how climate risks are quietly reshaping where North Carolina buyers choose to live. But our new news continues now. Consumer alert, cybercriminal experts issuing a warning about a scary trend, how you can protect yourself from ghost tapping.
And the perfect catch. A short-term rental home in Los Angeles is a home run for Shohei Ohtani superfans. How a couple is making sure international visitors have the ultimate experience. Shopping for a new car can be really stressful, and if you're an older driver, there are extra things to consider, from comfort and visibility to safety features to how much you'll pay for insurance. 5 on Your Side's Ashley Rowe breaks down the smartest ways to hit the road with confidence without breaking the bank.
As getting in and out of a car becomes more challenging, Consumer Reports says one of the most important steps in any car purchase is the test drive.
It's really important to take your time on the test drive. See how easy it is to get in and out, if the seat is comfortable, if you can adjust the seat belt.
Another challenge, seeing the road clearly. And that's where technology can help.
Visibility is really important. Newer cars, because of the way they look, sometimes that can hamper how you can see out of them. So it's important to look for features like blind spot warning, which can tell you if there's a car in your blind spot that you might not have noticed. All new cars come standard with a backup camera, which is proven to reduce crashes.
A study from the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety found rear view cameras reduced backup crashes among drivers over 70 years old by 36%. Insurance costs can also hit seniors hard.
We found that older drivers can end up paying more for insurance, even if they're driving less. One reason why might be because they're loyal to a company that's treated them well in the past. But loyalty doesn't pay when it comes to car insurance.
Keith says it's smart for seniors, or really anyone, to shop around for car insurance every few years. Consumer Reports found drivers who switched recently saved a median of $461 a year. Ashley Rowe, 5 on Your Side.
Well, Walmart is reportedly pausing job offers to foreign applicants who are required to have an H-1B visa to work in the United States. The hiring change comes after President Trump says companies must pay a $100,000 fee to hire high-skilled workers on those visas. According to government data, Walmart currently has more than 200,000 H-1B visa holders in its workforce. The Trump administration says the intent of the fee is to prevent companies from taking advantage of the program. Well, Toys R Us is opening more than 20 temporary seasonal holiday stores all across the nation, including right here in Raleigh. The temporary store in Crabtree Valley Mall is now open. 8 new permanent flagship stores are also opening just in time for the holiday season. The toy retailer has struggled in the past, filing for bankruptcy twice and closing more than 700 locations.
OpenAI launches a next-generation web browser built around its chatbot. Atlas is based on open-source engine Chromium, which powers several browsers such as Google Chrome. It includes an Ask ChatGPT sidebar, which lets users ask questions about web pages they visited. The browser is now live for Mac users and will soon be available on Windows, iOS, and Android.
We're closely watching the state legislature, where lawmakers are expected to vote on newly drawn congressional maps that could give Republicans an even larger advantage. We'll get a live report on what's happening after the break.
And here's a look at your winning NC Education lottery numbers. Good luck.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your #1 source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
Well, today, neighbors are gathering in North Hills as a realtor seeks approval for new high-rise buildings in that community. These buildings will be near Six Forks and Lassiter Mill Roads, and they could be up to 40 stories high. WRAL's Laura Levine has more on the rezoning proposal that still needs approval from the Raleigh City Council.
We're here at the intersection of Six Forks and Lassiter Mill Road, really the center of where some of these big ideas are being proposed. And the next big step in order to make this development a reality is Kane Realty today meeting with people who live in the area about building taller towers here. So according to current zoning laws, Kane has permission for buildings of heights between 5 stories and 12 stories tall. If the rezoning is approved, Kane seeks to construct on 4 separate parcels at heights between 12 and 40 stories high. The firm officially submitted its rezoning request last month. All of the buildings are planned to be commercial mixed use, meaning the new construction would be home to retail and residential finishes. Kane must gather input from those who live in this area before the case is reviewed by the Planning Commission, and then it will be presented to City Council. So tonight's neighborhood meeting is from 5 p.m. to 7:30. That's taking place at the One Hills Tower tonight. Laura Levine, WRAL News in Raleigh.
We're following some breaking news right now. We were expecting lawmakers to vote today on a plan to give Republicans an even bigger advantage in congressional elections. That is not happening. Let's get right over to Sean Gallagher outside the House chamber. Sean, what's going on?
Yeah, I just stepped out. Speaker Destin Hall said that he was going to cut off the debate at 12:30 so they could move forward with the second vote on the changes in this map. But you may be able to hear right now there are protesters upstairs who were just cleared from the gallery. They started chanting for all the things that they want instead of these redistricting maps. They want a pass on the budget that would help with health care, funding for schools. They say that they would rather them voting on this.
GLP-1 medications are continuing to grow in popularity, but not everyone is eligible for them. So some people are turning to weight loss supplements instead, which doctors warn can be unsafe. That's because unlike GLP-1 medications, weight loss supplements do not need to be approved by the FDA. That means anything can be added to them, including harmful or illegal ingredients.
The problem with supplements is that they are not standardized, okay? And so especially if we look at the medications, those medications have been rigorously tested in multiple randomized controlled trials in large cohorts of patients. So what that means is this has been tried on multiple patients before it has been deemed safe to be used to help our patients.
There's also no way to know the potential side effects or long-term risks of taking these substitute meds. Another concern with weight loss supplements is how they interact with other medications.
Tap to pay. It's a fast, easy, and convenient way to pay for things. It's also a fast new way to steal your money. Cyber criminal experts call it ghost tapping. It's kind of like wireless skimming, where somebody gets close to you and they're literally wirelessly skimming the information on your phone or your card. Scammers can also use what's called a near-field communication reader to steal credit card information and make fraudulent charges.
Or it can be in other situations like somebody set up on the street to get money, they say, raising it for charity or for some emotional cause, a funeral, for instance.
So what can you do to protect yourself? Consider storing your cards in an RFID blocking wallet. When tapping to pay, check the merchant's name and amount on the screen, and most importantly, review your charges regularly.
Insect invasion. You've probably seen a few of these flying menaces. They're called spotted lanternflies. Where they come from and the best way to combat this spread.
Plus, a woman gets an unexpected wingman on the way to church.
And here the dang bird is hanging on the front of the truck, still alive.
You could say the bird of prey survived thanks to a little prayer.
Our teacher of the week is one of the original teachers at Panther Creek High School when that school opened back in 2006. Check out how this science teacher builds the kind of chemistry with his students that serves them well beyond the classroom.
Nitrogen is the closest, right? Goes in the center of that ion.
Chip Shea is in his element in the classroom.
From the chlorine to the carbon, ooh.
Teaching chemistry at Panther Creek High School in Cary is actually a second career for him.
Yes, sir.
After he lost his job more than 20 years ago in the textile industry, he says he found his calling in the classroom.
It's something that I had been doing. I'd been tutoring for a couple of years but then I just kind of did it. And it's been a wonderful transition. Oxygen has 8, nitrogen has 8.
Mr. Shea strives to help students understand how chemistry can be applied to their everyday lives. And when they get it, he says there's nothing more gratifying.
You can see it. It's not just an understanding on a piece of paper. It's a facial expression. It's a light behind their eyes. And for some students, it's even beyond that because it takes them to something deeper, something they want to continue. That's That's really where I get it.
That joy was especially evident when he shared a story, like he often does in the classroom, about running into a former Panther Creek colleague.
She showed me a picture that she had been to a wedding, right? And several of my former students were there. 2 of them were science teachers.
How did that make you feel?
It just makes you warm, right? It just makes you warm.
Mr. Shea, you are WRAL's Teacher of the Week. Give him a big hand. Congratulations.
Thank you, Tim.
So, such an honor to meet Mr. Shea. Now, if you'd like to nominate a teacher, go to WRAL.com, enter Teacher of the Week in the search box.
Grace Holland here in the WRAL Live Center, where we have big breaking news on that story we've been following for several days here. The North Carolina House has passed new GOP-friendly congressional districts into law ahead of the 2026 election. So the NC House gave final approval on new congressional districts. Republicans will now control 11 of 14 of those districts. This is something that we have been following for several days. This has big implications for politics here in our state. Our Capitol Bureau team has been following this, and WRAL's Sean Gallagher has been reporting live from the Capitol. They will have updates and insight on this coming up in our news starting at 4 p.m.
Millions of trees and plants across the country are being killed by an invasive species. Scientists say the spotted lanternfly has been found in up to 19 states after first being discovered in the U.S. about a decade ago. According to the Department of Agriculture, the spotted lanternfly likely came to America on goods shipped from overseas. Adults can be found from July through December in some areas and damage plants and trees with its sticky mold-like fluid.
The spotted lanternfly is an indiscriminate egg layer, so it will put its eggs on everything from firewood to standing live trees to rocks to grills, the underside of cars.
To prevent the spread, the USDA says checking plants regularly and monitoring your vehicles for egg beds. But the best way to prevent the spread is just to kill them when you see them.
Some good advice there. Let's get back out to the WRAL weather patio, check in with meteorologist Kat Campbell. So, Kat, you started out with a coat this morning, but those layers can come off this afternoon.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful out here today. I'm very comfortable in pants and longer sleeves today. And you may even be lucky enough to see in the breeze some of the leaves fall in the gardens, and it really sets the scene on this gorgeous fall day. Best of all, we've got one of our best meteor showers of the year, and that is happening again tonight. View anytime after dark, and you can expect to see about 10 to 20 meteors per hour, depending on if you're in the country or the city. And moonlight is minimal, so this year is really going to be an exceptional year for viewing. I cannot wait tonight. It's one of my favorite meteor showers of the year. Out here in the WRAL Gardens, a different view. You can see it's beautiful. The grass is doing well. I know we need some rain for our grass at home, and we could see some by next week. In the meantime, it's dry, it's sunny today. The playground will reach the mid-70s by 3 o'clock, and we should be in the low to mid-70s for the next couple of days. It's not until Sunday into Monday that we dip back into the 60s for highs, but we've got some cold nights in the low 40s ahead. Rain chances, the way it looks now, still 30% Monday and Tuesday. There is a lot of model disagreement on how next week could play out. If you're hoping for rain, you want the European model to pan out, and that developed a coastal low that would bring some rain our way early next week. The American model has consistently held off on this development and holds off on bringing rain until the middle of next week with the cold front. So totals are highly uncertain. We are going to be watching this closely. I do want to let you know, since we talked about Melissa in the last half hour in the tropics, this will not be Melissa. That'll stay pretty much parked near Jamaica. As for how much rain we could see, I mentioned there's still a lot of uncertainty, going about 1/4 of an inch of rain right now, but that could change, so stay tuned for updates. Tonight, lows are going to be about 10 degrees cooler than they were last night in some spots, upper 30s to lower 40s, and then we're back in the 70s. So layer up. Jackets in the morning, sunshine, comfortable weather during the afternoon. Great weather to head out to the North Carolina State Fair. I'm looking forward to heading out that way later today. Once we get to next week, we'll have more clouds, perhaps some rain around, and that could hold temperatures back, only reaching the 60s.
Some very good advice there. Thanks, Kat. We'll talk about getting up. An eagle-eyed driver making an unusual discovery on the way to church.
Very beautiful, but just hanging there and moving its head from side to side, looking at me.
Oh, boy. Oh, a majestic bird got stuck under a pickup truck and the effort to rescue it. As we wrap things up, here's a look at a few headlines we're following right now. The North Carolina House giving final approval to new congressional districts, making them law ahead of the 2026 election. These new maps will likely give Republicans an edge in congressional races. They increase GOP congressional representation from 10 to 11 out of the 14 total seats in our state.
One of the sisters charged in a crash that killed 3 high school football players in Fayetteville appeared in court this morning. Destiny Jenwright turned herself in yesterday. Investigators say she and her sister, Diamond Monroe, were racing when the deadly crash happened. Monroe is also facing charges related to the crash, but is still in the hospital at this time for her injuries.
A driver is facing DWI charges after cries that hurt 3 people in Raleigh this morning. This happened on East Millbrook Road near Hargrove Road. Police say the car was going at a high rate of speed when it ran off the road and hit trees. The driver and 2 other people who were in that car are expected to recover.
A California couple is giving Shohei Ohtani superfans a lifetime experience. Last year, the couple transformed their upstairs of their 129-year-old bungalow with all things Ohtani. The room is filled with everything from bobbleheads to autographed baseballs. The wife even created a guidebook for fans. Prices start from $250 per person per night, with an additional $150 option for a Dodgers ticket.
I love it. The ride to church took an unexpected turn for one Minnesota woman. She encouraged a bald eagle enjoying breakfast along the highway. As she slowed down, she says it suddenly flew in front of the truck. The driver says she heard a thump but didn't see it in the road. Well, 4 miles later, she decided to check, and lo and behold, the eagle's feet were stuck in the grill. A wildlife officer arrived and gave the bird its independence. A DNR officer says the eagle did not seem to be hurt and was released into the wild.
Glad that's okay. Well, time now for our pet of the day from Cat Angels NC. Lilu may be a little timid at first, but doesn't take her long to be the center of absolutely everything. If you are interested, contact NC Cat Angels.
Your next newscast is that a half hour away. NBC News Dailies are up next.
Have a great day.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.